Factors that are affecting the capital cost. Capital cost, and it means the total cost of construction of the plant or equipment. So we consider we have different type of expenses that we categorize them usually to this list that you can see here. We have direct project expense. Okay, we have direct project expense, indirect project expense, contingency and fees. Like contingencies are like those expenses that we might have in future. It can be any, like some disaster, some accident, some expenses that we cannot really predict, some other fees, and auxiliary facilities. Let's say utilities that we need to build to operate the plant. So let's start with each of them, and then we will see what are them. So direct expense are those expenses that you can see here. Equipment fabrication cost, okay, cost of equipment. Okay, so it's the purchase cost of equipment at the manufacturer side. Like let's say you buy a heat exchanger from a company, then you have to bring that heat exchanger to your plant. Okay, so this is the price of equipment. CP is the price of equipment in the manufacturer's side, in the company side. We don't consider in this factor, we don't consider the transportation. I don't know if you have to import it from other country, the taxes that you have to pay and some other expenses. Material expenses related to material, we show it with CM. That includes all the piping, isolation, installation, fireproofing, foundations, structural supports, instrumentation, electrical, painting, and whatever material that you will consume, it will be considered as direct expense and material expense. Labor expense, you have to get some labor to do the job for you. Okay, all the labor associated with equipment, material, installing the material, like installation, painting, construction, whatever labor you need to do to use. This will be shown in this index or indicator that we call it labor cost. We show it with CN. Material cost CN, equipment or process cost CP. Okay. Those are the direct costs that you have. You have indirect costs. Okay. What are indirect costs? Insurance, tax, transportation, freight. So that we show it with this. Freight, insurance, tax, CFIT, this is considered as indirect cost, which is the cost related to transportation, okay, shipping of the material from the manufacturer to the plant site, insurance that you need to pay for the equipment to ship it, okay, because even the shipping, when you are shipping something, are expenses with it, and any purchase tax that may be applicable. Okay? Any purchase tax that might be applied. Okay, there are always taxes from when you buy something from other countries. Construction overhead. Okay, so then like there's always some overhead or some extra additional expenses, especially in construction, that you need to also consider, that we show it with this CO overhead. This is it includes all the extra benefits that you need to provide. Let's say vacation, there might be some sick leave, retirement benefits. Those are the things that you have to provide for your labor. Okay. labor burdens such as social security, unemployment insurance, okay, salaries and overhead for the supervisory personnel. So there are some overhead expenses which is mainly related to the labors that you have to also consider. Contractor engineering expenses. So like for each of the job that you will do, you need to have a contractor, let's say for construction, for installation, for a startup. So like you have to also consider for project management, you have to also consider those costs that we call it in general engineering expenses or engineering costs. That includes all these items here. Those are your indirect expenses. We have also contingency and other fees. Let's say the things that might happens in future that we call it contingencies. We show it with this. See, contingencies is a factor that it covers any unforeseen, unpredictable circumstances in future. Okay, so it might be waste of time or lose of time because of a stormy weather or some strikes. Labor day strikes all the time in different countries. Or if there is a small change in the design, okay, that you do the design, you start the project, you go ahead, but you see that there's something that needs to be improved. You start the project, you redesign the things, and you continue. Okay, so those are unpredictable prices, unpredictable things that you need to consider, or unpredicted price increase. Okay, like what we see these days in this condition that we are, the prices they might increase because of we have many issues, economical issues. So those are the things that will be all considered in this factor. Contractor fees that we showed with the fee is it's like depending to the type of the plan and some other factors. There might be some contractor fee that we also need to consider. So this is the third part, and last part is auxiliary facilities that we have. Okay, let's say site development. We showed with C site. We have auxiliary buildings. The cost of those auxiliary buildings we showed with C auxil or AOX, and we have off-sites and utilities that we show the cost of those equipment, those facilities with CO off. Okay, so what is site development cost? Is the cost related to the land, grading of the site, excavations of the site, then installation of some electrical light, water, sewer systems, construction of all the internal roads that we need to do, walkways, parking lots, so any cost that you need to pay to develop the site. Administration, offices, okay, so we have auxiliary buildings, so we need to build a building for administrative stuff, for administration offices, maintenance shop, storage, control room, storage or warehouses, and service buildings. So this is some cost that we need to pay. We do this usually in the initial stage of the project. We build a kind of building, we construct a building that is mainly for managing administration offices, services, build or even control room and storage. Offsite and utilities. So we need to also build some sites for storing raw material and final products. Loading and unloading facilities, they all need a special design. We need a special, buildings for this purpose. The equipment that needs to supply require process utilities. Like sometimes we need to produce our water on the site. We need to produce our electricity on the site. And central environmental control facilities. If you are producing some wastewater, we need to have wastewater treatment, and we need to control sometimes, the quality of wastewater that we are producing. And also fire protection system, that is very, very important these days, is very important for the security of the personnel and all the people who are working on the site. So our next topic will be on some modules that we use to find the capital cost. I'm gonna talk about that in the next video. Thank you for your attention. Please go forward for the next video from slide 24.